No, you're not.
The topic of the DoorDash girl is over for now. She's gonna go to court. She's gonna get arraigned. They're gonna potentially deal out any sentences, or they're probably gonna go through the process of, if you fail to prove your innocence, you're gonna get this punishment and all that. For now, it's over. But the one thing I did not factor in is the potential for people to start giving their opinions once it came out that this woman had been arrested. And I was sent this with the added image of something else and was told, watch it until you feel the need to pull up the second image. And you know what? I'm feeling it a little antsy for some stupid right now. So, beautiful looking woman, what do you have to say?
I heard the DoorDash girl got arrested, and quite frankly, I'm not surprised. We know that
as everyone shouldn't be,
was a crime.
Yes. I don't need to watch the rest of this. The rest of this should hold no weight to me.
We've covered that like a million times. This isn't shocking. No, I still think that we're focusing on the wrong part of the story here. Because yes, it was wrong of her, as we've all agreed since the very beginning, to record and post him. But I'm still worried about the precedent this sets based on y'all's reaction and y'all's behavior.
Stop. No. You can't. I feel like I know what I'm about to hear. I'm about to hear, oh, you all reacted by criticizing her. Oh, you reacted by shaming her. Oh, you reacted by not believing her story. Madam, and I despise how this also ties into that brick story. I am not about to sit here and play the game of being demonized for saying a story kind of doesn't line up the way it's being presented. And the way I could easily debunk anybody's criticisms for mocking the woman is by pulling up DoorDash's statement where they tell everybody she's fired because she broadcasted that to social media. If she would have just given it to DoorDash and the police, it would have been over with. Maybe she would have kept her job. Maybe he would have not been able to be on DoorDash anymore, and that would have been the end of it. Maybe he had a health risk. Who knows? But the confidence to say, oh my God, y'all's behavior. No, because this is not our fault. We didn't do nothing. We're the victims in this because we had to sit here and listen to a woman, I'm the victim, her way through talking. And after she got chewed out by everybody who turned on their thinking caps, she suddenly realized, hello, my name is, I don't know her name, and I am the DoorDash girl. You know how her attitude changed? Because now she has to present herself in a professional manner so that she could prove her innocence of going up to somebody's doorstep and recording them and doing so, broadcasting that online. But continue.
I've been seeing the memes, the jokes, the laughing at her, the ridicule. When at the end of the day, she walks up to this house with the door open and a man has his junk out. Now, everybody's defense of him still predicates on the fact that he is asleep. Do we know he's asleep? No, not with any confidence. We know that his face is covered. We know that his genitals are out. We know that the door is open. That is what we know. Now, logic would dictate from all of us, not the court of law, but the court of public opinion, that that is a weird thing to do. That
no one. This is another thing. I get it. We're all giving our opinions online, but the court of public opinion don't really mean too much in this case. I get it. When things happen in the justice system and people are treated unfairly, they turn to social media in hopes that public pressure could dictate an outcome. It's happened before. It's not going to be a thing that stops. But here, public opinion doesn't matter because the statement from the employer is how we book in this for everybody.
Best case scenario, that is concerning behavior. Worst case scenario, that's predatory. But instead, in y'all's reaction to all of this, the laughing at her, the making fun of her, the demeaning her, the belittling her, you have now given a green light for men who like to do this to get away with it.
Okay, I feel like this is a perfect time to pull up this second screenshot here. And I quote, on the above date, time, and location, I responded to a public lewdness complaint. Upon arrival, I spoke with Olivia Henderson, who stated that she was door dashing last night at an address that has been scratched out. And when she arrived at the address to deliver a Wendy's pickup, the male who ordered had his front door wide open and he was sleeping on the couch with no pants on. Olivia stated that she left the food on the front porch and left. She advised me that she called because she did not want this to happen again to to another female delivery driver. I then responded to address that's been blurred out and spoke to Austin, last name, who's been blurred out, who stated that he had gone out last night to the bars. He stated that he woke up and realized that his front door was open and he saw the photo Olivia left of the food being delivered and his door open with him laying inside. Austin stated that he thought he had shorts on in the photo and did not realize that he was actually naked. Austin stated several times that this is not a normal for him and that he was sorry that it happened. I advised him that at this time there are no charges. However, if it becomes a recurring issue, he could potentially get charged. He stated that he understood and that it would not happen again. And as it were to stand right here from documentation from October, it stands to reason that this man was drunk and passed out with his nuts out. And you know what? Sure, you get drunk, you get home, you get a little bit of the munchie, and because you're drunk and not really functioning to stay up for delivery, you're gonna pass out. Okay, still doesn't mean you should be recording a man's nuts inside his own home and broadcasting it to social media and screaming bloody assault as if no one's paying attention to your stories. This strengthens more support towards the guy, because how in the fuck do you reach a conclusion of this man was doing this on purpose? Oh, he did it to get a rise out of her when no one knew anything. That's not intuition. That's not even logic. That's you guessing for an outcome. But continue.
Let's say this man was not a flasher. Let's just say he was an innocent man, even though logic says that might not be true.
That's not logic. That's just you guessing.
But even if he is, other men aren't. We know that flashing happens on a semi-regular basis.
Sure.
DoorDash drivers talk about it. Nurses talk about it. People
sure.
who food talk about it. Everybody talks about it. And now, all they know is that, all I have to do is leave my door open and fall asleep.
See, that's not logic there. You're saying you're putting the air quotes and fall asleep because you want it to be, that's a convenient excuse. And now all these other freakazoid men, they're going to order food, or they're going to go in the hospital and they're going to fake like they're asleep and they're just going to have their nuts out. Like, oh, you see my nuts? Oh, you see my nuts? I would think if you were going to the hospital to do this, you would have to either pretend to be unconscious and be brought into an ambulance and then put on that spectacle, which you would be wasting potentially up to $4,000 for a skit that's not going to be beneficial to you. And then you got to do the other thing where, I could get away with a kink. Let me just order food. Let me waste $30 because you fucking Americans do not want to cook the food in your house, and you just going to take your shorts off and you just going to sit there and you just going to wait. That's not logic. That's just you guessing based off of other people's experiences. Could you not?
Ha ha ha. Because y'all are going to ha ha ha. At the end of the day, a woman at her job was made to feel violated because of the behavior of a customer. And y'all have just speed bumped over all of that to make fun of her for recording and posting it. After all the whole, but all victims should provide evidence. Y'all just don't care. And
No. See, the problem here is we're conflating 50 different things. You're talking about how people have jumped over and speed bumped through the whole process here, even though everybody says, provide evidence of it, provide evidence of that. Let me be the person to say that I would love it if people actually had the documentation necessary and went through the proper channels in making sure that they remain safe and that they acquire the right amount of justice for themselves without social media's input, because there's the likelihood that social media could help you. There's the likelihood social media will make it absolutely worse for you. And in this instance, don't bring up any other positive changes or worse changes. In this instance, this woman brought this to social media and it backfired on her, and it's her fault. She can feel like she was in a moment of being violated. I'm not going to take that away from her. My criticism will remain the same. You giving it to social media created this firestorm where it's going to backfire on you, where you're going to have, I believe I'm going to say this for the fourth time, your employer having to respond to everybody saying, hey, we fired you because you posted a man's nuts online. That is in violation of our social media policy. Because I understand that many people don't know how these companies work, but 10 times out of 10, you can't work anywhere and record somebody's nuts and broadcast it to TikTok and think you're going to keep your job after that. The only way that works is if you own that company or you fucking the owner of that company. And that woman was not. But continue.
Still, and will always be more concerned about the precedent that this sets as opposed to if she got arrested or not, because her getting arrested is not surprising. Y'all's reaction to all of this is also not surprising, but it is still disappointing.
How is it disappointing? It's the easiest outcome under the sun. When we live in a world where people are so fixated on hoping for an outcome without actually going through the steps to get to said outcome, you get people trying to circumvent every conversation and making sure that what's being said is what matters to you in the moment when it has nothing to do based in the actual situation. Yes, there are instances where women come on here and talk about something that happened to them and it's true and they get invalidated. Yes, there are men who talk about what happened to them and they get invalidated. Yes, these are things that have existed since the dawn of time because humanity sickens us all. But we're not about to use real stories and instances where people are treated unfairly or instances where people get 100% justice and tie it to a story where a woman feels violated, but she fucked up in making sure that she stayed safe. And the more this comes out, the more you're going to see people trying their hardest to skip over certain parts of the story because they want to say it's your fault for reacting in a manner that's hilarious.
I swear y'all remind me of Christopher Columbus, the way y'all try to rewrite history. I promise. So if you haven't heard, the DoorDash girl was arrested and charged. She was charged with unlawful surveillance and distribution of the unlawful surveillance. And people are coming on the internet to be like, I told you so, I told you so. Whole time, that was not the argument we were having. That is not what y'all were upset about. The discourse that was happening on the internet was y'all being upset because she said she was SA'd, and y'all felt like she wasn't a victim. Y'all then took that and ran with the fact that y'all believed that she walked into this man's house and then delivered the food, even though the instructions were to leave it on the steps. We found out that that never happened. Y'all cropped the picture of the door open to make it seem like she made her way in to this man's home. Y'all then wanted to argue the fact that it was normal that he was laying there butterball ass naked with the door open after he delivered food that he knew was going to be left on the steps. Like, that's what we were talking about. And I have news for y'all. It was still weird. They can charge her with recording and distribution, all of that. Yeah, she probably shouldn't have put it on the internet. Fine, fair is fair. It's still weird that he was sitting there butterball ass naked after he ordered food and knew that that woman was coming to deliver his food.
You didn't take it serious because she got on here screaming bloody murder about being assaulted. Meanwhile, she's recording somebody without their consent in their own home and broadcasting it for us to see. I said it from jump. If she would have just felt unsafe and gave that to DoorDash and the police and stopped there, I ain't got no goddamn problem with this. It's really not anything for me to think about. But because I'm the victim in having to see somebody's nuts on social media, and I gotta have people yelling in my ear that I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't seen this phantom clip of her kicking the door in, and know that pissant crop screenshots still ain't enough, I have to sit here and recognize that I'm the one who's hurt the most because I have once again had to lay the groundwork to be the most boring yet captivating soul in the subject matter because you people like to play the game of jumping through hoops to skip through the story instead of going through the entire story. And your boy's not going to go for that because while it is important to recognize that online people are going to react in ways that you like and don't like, what matters at the end, the middle, and the beginning is the truth and how it comes out, whether it come out fast or it come out slow, much like how most men have to come very slow once they get older because erectile dysfunction is a thing that every man worries about. Goodbye.